on the gridiron or courtside, you know what time it is. It's
Sports plus life. Sports plus life.
ringside or front court or field pass, we ballin', no. Knuckle up or buckle up, I tell it like it is when I'm on my show. Home run, slam dunk, knockout, or got some dough.
Sports plus life.
Yeah.
Sports plus life.
Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What's really good? It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns, host of that show called Sports Plus Life. You feel me? And y'all already know what's going down today, bruh. So guess what? Turn it off, turn it off, turn it all the way off now. Yeah. How is everybody doing today? All right, please allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns, and this is Sports Plus Life, that there sports podcast where we talk about all of the necessary topics in sports and all of the necessary topics in life. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. It is a beautiful day, beautiful Monday, April the 25th, 2000 of the 22. Oh boy, that spring weather is kicking in. Yesterday it was damn near 90 degrees at one point, and today right now it looks like it's at around like 73 degrees. Good weather. Good, perfect spring weather out there for everybody. Now, before I go forward with the sports, a lot of sports to talk about. Just want to, again, take the time, wish everybody, all of my peoples out there, wish everybody a beautiful day, a beautiful Monday, a beautiful week. Hope you have a blessed day. Hope you have a blessed week. I hope you're safe and secure. And if you're at work, hope you're enjoying your job. If you're at home, I hope you're enjoying your crib. If you're with your kids, I hope you're enjoying your kids. I just hope you enjoying it all, my people. I really, really, really do, honestly. But bottom line is I have a lot of stuff that I want to address on the sports tip, or particularly on the basketball tip. So without further ado, my people, let's get to it. Remember I said there were two specific playoff series that I was looking forward to when the playoffs started. One in the Eastern Conference, one in the Western Conference. Well, the one in the Western Conference, for all intensive purposes, has lived up to the billing. That was the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. I was looking forward to seeing that series because they're two young, spectacular, athletic teams, and I always thought that this was a bad matchup for the Memphis Grizzlies. But I see two teams for the future, even though the Grizzlies, they won all that smoke. Now, that series is tied up at 2. And if Minnesota was capable of holding a lead, they would probably be up 3-1. But it is what it is. I'm getting my money's worth with that series. Now, the series in the Eastern Conference that I was looking forward to, obviously, that everybody was looking forward to, was the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. Boy, if we knew a week ago what we knew now, at least up to this point, everybody's eyebrows would be raised. We'd be like, brr? The Boston Celtics are up 3-0 on the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they and not only that, not only are they up 3-0, but Kevin Durant has played horrible. Kyrie Irving hasn't looked that much better, and the only reason why I say he hasn't looked that much better is because I'm still putting the game 139-point game performance. I'm taking that into account. But ever since game 1, you know who the Nets' best player has been? It's been Bruce Brown. The one who started doing all of the talking before the series, the one who gave the Celtics the bulletin board material. I blasted him last week because he didn't show up for game 1. He didn't play well. But ever since then, games 2 and games 3, Bruce Brown has been the best player on the Brooklyn Nets. And everybody is saying, well, it looks like the Nets are about to get swept, and what needs to happen with the Brooklyn front office, and should you get rid of Steve Nash, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to look at it like this. For one, Kyrie Irving, I'm sorry. I know he is spectacular as he is on the basketball court. I couldn't invest in him long term because it's always something with Kyrie Irving. It is. It's always something that keeps Kyrie Irving from playing basketball. And then I'm going to look at the comment of, didn't y'all say, you and KD say that we don't really need a coach? I beg to differ. because clearly what has been going on in the last 2 games at least has been a reflection of good coaching versus bad coaching. Because for one, Steve Nash has made no adjustments to any defense that Udoka has put out for the Celtics. And 2, what took so long to get Blake Griffin on the goddamn floor? I mean, Blake Griffin, who had completely fallen out of the rotation, gets his number called, stayed ready like a true professional. He came out, he looked exhausted after about 5 minutes, but was diving on the ground, trying to get loose balls, trying to inject a spirit into the Brooklyn Nets team. And I'm like, what took so long to do this? And then on top of that, how come LaMarcus Aldridge hasn't been on the court? Remember, I said that last week. How come LaMarcus Aldridge hasn't been on the court? Why? I mean, there is a level of toughness that is missing from this Brooklyn Nets team. And when I look at them play, all I'm seeing is hero ball. You have all of these shooters on the floor. You got KD, you got Kyrie, you got Seth Curry, you got Patty Mills. All of this shooting on the floor, and all I'm seeing is a bunch of one-on-one ISO basketball. That's all I'm seeing. And to the Celtics' credit, they are taking full advantage of it. Jason Tatum is absolutely housing Kevin Durant. I never thought I would say that. Not at this. I mean, I know KD is a little long in the tooth, but he ain't that damn long. Not the way I've seen Kevin Durant play just this season alone. Jason Tatum is housing Kevin Durant. He's blocking his shots. I mean, Jason Tatum had 39 points in game 3. Kevin Durant looks frustrated. He just looks bewildered. He looks flustered. He does not look like the person who many people think, who I've thought really for the last 5 or 6 years, I thought that Kevin Durant is the best basketball player in the world. I recently changed my tune on it. Maybe I would say about a month ago, because I'm looking at Giannis and I'm like, good Lord, who is stopping Giannis? Like, real talk. And that's going to be another matchup that is going to be must-see TV, assuming that everything continues on the path that is going down, because the Bucks are up 3-1 on the Bulls. Everybody was nervous when Middleton got hurt and Chicago stole game 2 in Milwaukee. Milwaukee came to Chicago and kicked the shit out of them in game 3 and 4. I mean, they weren't even close. I called Tony after game 3. I said, Milwaukee flexed on you. He said, well, we just didn't make shots. I don't give a damn what the cause was. You got flexed on. And then what happened yesterday was more of the same thing. You got flexed on. So that's going to be definitely a matchup that I'll be looking forward to, the Bucks versus the Celtics. Now, but back to the Nets. Again, I think their coaching has definitely been an issue. And then the Ben Simmons aspect. You know, the other day, confirming source, it came out and said, Ben Simmons is going to play in Game 4 for the Brooklyn Nets. He's going to make his season debut, his Nets debut, Game 4 against the Boston Celtics. Well, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, yeah, right. And then the next thing I'm thinking of, well, why the hell would he come back and play Game 4? I mean, what's the purpose? I mean, if you can play Game 4, why the hell don't you just play Game 3? You're down 2-0. You know what's going on. What's the difference? But then report comes out, yesterday? Ben Simmons is not going to play Game 4 for the Nets. So let me get this straight. Were you only going to play Game 4 if the Nets had won Game 3? I'm just confused about that. I don't believe a damn thing that Ben Simmons says about any injury. Ben Simmons is absolutely a fucking joke. All right, and I don't take pleasure saying this because Ben Simmons was one of my favorite players. I don't know if you guys remember or not, during last season on the podcast, I would consistently rave about Ben Simmons, particularly how he is on defense. I was calling him a shutdown cornerback. I would say he needs to improve his offense, but he's so great at every other position. I'm like, Ben Simmons is like a shutdown cornerback. I can't wait to see him go up against Kevin Durant, should it be Brooklyn and the 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then all of a sudden, Ben Simmons went from sugar to shit real quick. And and the part that really pisses me off is that we want to blame mental health issues on it. As a person who has seriously, in all seriousness, who has dealt with those issues when I was younger, there's a big ass difference between being mentally weak and having mental health issues. And see, what happened is when Ben Simmons choked, when Ben Simmons froze up in the moment of truth, in the biggest game of their season, that eventually cost them their season, he was called out about it by his teammate, by his coach. Whether you like that or not, it is what it is, but it happened. But instead of trying to embrace the comeback, rectify the problem, Ben Simmons got in his feelings and said, no, I ain't gonna play for y'all no more. I ain't gonna play for y'all no more, but I want to make sure I don't lose no money, so I'll show up to a couple of practices and I'll say that I'm going through mental health issues. I'm having mental health issues. Man, well, you ain't have a damn bit of mental health. You was in your feelings and you didn't want to play for them no more.
Bye, bitch.
And instead of being a professional, about it, which means going out, playing, putting the uniform on, playing some games, but actively seeking a trade. Instead of doing that, you said, nope, I'm not going to play again. I'm going to say mental health issues, blah, 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 blah. Y'all know the 3-6 Mafia song. If you grew up around the time when I grew up, when I say weak gas, you say, y'all know the rest of it. That is Ben Simmons. Because then you get traded to Brooklyn and everything looks all good, but then now all of a sudden, I got a back issue. Back issues are hard to diagnose by any doctor, but yet we see him on the court during practice, going behind the back, doing moves, blah 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 blah. But then when the team needs you, and if anything, they got enough shooting. They don't need you to shoot the damn ball. They need you to play defense and distribute, and you can't even do that. But you want to be on the sidelines looking like a nigga who should be on the cover of GQ, bro. I'm not even being funny. Bro, you's a disgrace.
Biatch.
You are a disgrace to a professional athlete. You are a disgrace. You are a absolute joke. And then have the nerve to file a $20 million grievance against the NBA when the Brooklyn Nets should file a grievance against you.
Excellent.
You weak ass punk.
What's wrong with you?
You are a disgrace.
You niggas are crazy.
You are a disgrace to basketball.
God damn.
And to be honest, I cannot wait till the next collective bargaining agreement because I am always pro player. I always want to see athletes get their money, but I am sick and goddamn tired of these players, particularly in the NBA, cheating the game of basketball. I'm a fan. The first team sport that I fell in love with was the NBA. And nowadays, I don't want to hear about how much more talented and skilled that the players are from back when I grew up in the 90s. If you're not available, what the fuck good are you? It's a simple X's and O's GED question. You can be as skilled as you want to be, but if you're not available to be on the goddamn basketball court, what good are you? I am sick and tired of seeing players cheat the game. Ben Simmons cheats the game of basketball. Kyrie Irving cheats the game of basketball, even though I love Kyrie Irving. Zion Williamson, you out there post-game dunking between your legs, but you can't even play. You are cheating the game of basketball. Are you joking? The only reason why I ain't gonna say Kawhi Leonard is because he tore his ACL. But any other time, Kawhi Leonard is only looking to play about 61, 62 games a season. That's cheating the game of basketball too. But I'll leave him out of this because he has a legit injury. But load management and all of that other stupid shit, no, I'm sorry. I'm sick and tired of seeing fans cheat the game of basketball. This is why I don't want to go to an NBA game. I used to always want to go to an NBA game, but now I don't know what players are going to play and what players are not going to play because they cheat the game. They cheat the game all the time, but didn't want to get paid more. That is the most backward ass shit that I have ever seen. You want to get paid $200 million to do less. Really? Boy, I swear, if I could be an owner just for one season. Oh, my swear, oh God. I swear, oh God. Everything would change. Everything would change under my watch. Because I'm going to give a player like Kyrie Irving, nah, bruh, you ain't getting a one-year contract. You getting a game-to-game contract, bruh. Your money would only hinge on whether you punch the clock or not. Nothing would be guaranteed with you. Absolutely nothing. No. The only time you would get paid is when you play. That is it. Unless you have, and if you have a significant enough injury where you know, like when he sprained his ankle last season against Milwaukee, all right, you can't deny that. I mean, I felt that one. But, if for any other reasons, I need a mental break and all of this stuff, and nah, bruh, I ain't hearing that. Okay, fine, take your mental break. You ain't getting paid. Cool beans. We call it even. That's the way I see it. We could call it even. because I am sick. Same thing with Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson would have Zion Williamson. He would have to be at a certain weight at certain times of the year to get his money. Like when the Green Bay Packers had that certain contract with Eddie Lacy. Nah, bruh. Because this dude, this is third season in the NBA, played 86 games. When the majority of when he played last season, he was absolutely awesome. But you don't play enough. But you can be out in pregame doing dunks and all this other stuff, but you can't even get in uniform? No, bruh. And again, like I said, the Ben Simmons aspect. Ben Simmons is an absolute joke. So, let's say the Nets get swept tonight, okay? Should they get swept tonight? All right. What do you do then? I mean, you almost... there's a part where you almost have to keep the band together, if you will, because you really haven't seen what a finished product looks like. But if I'm Brooklyn Nets ownership, I'm saying, bro, this has been the same song and dance for the last 3 years. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Because this notion that just because you have special players that you don't need to take the regular season seriously, and that just as soon as y'all get on the court, you'll have the cohesiveness, you'll have the team chemistry that can beat a great team like Boston, who plays a style of defense which I absolutely love. And you think you can do that just because you got Durant on the back of your jersey, or Irving on the back of your jersey, or Simmons sitting on your sidelines? Shit. It ain't gonna happen like that, bruh. No. This is proving you do need a coach, Kyrie Irving. You do need a coach. Because if you didn't need a coach, then you wouldn't be about to get swept. Now, job has to get done. But I think Boston, I mean, if you Kevin Durant, you got to at least get a game. Because I don't see, no team has ever come back from an 0-3 hole in the sport of basketball. I mean, and I'm not even going to let anybody try to sucker me into thinking, well, if the Nets could just get, no, I've been hearing well and if involving the damn Brooklyn Nets for the last at least 2 years. No.
Release the hounds.
So, moving on with more playoff action. Oh, the Denver Nuggets yesterday staved off elimination by beating the Suns 126-121. Okay, I mean, Denver got a game. Good for Jokic, because next game, when it goes back to San Francisco, they out of there. Hard pressed right now to see somebody who's going to beat the Warriors.
And we're going to kick your fucking
because
ass.
They look like they back to having fun. Yeah, they lost yesterday. I don't even think they care, because they know what now. They know they're healthy, and they know what they can bring to the table. Miami goes up 3-1 on Atlanta. Jimmy Butler just turned into a scoring machine. He had over 30 last night, had 45 in game 2. Miami, another team, deep, cohesive unit. They're going to be hard to deal with. They're the number 1 seed, so the road to the NBA Finals out the East goes through South Beach. The Milwaukee Bucks, like I said earlier, they took care of business. This is why my ceiling for the Bucks is higher than that of the Phoenix Suns. Because both guys lost players of equal of value and importance to their team. I'm not saying who's a better player than who. I'm talking about their value to their team. They both lost that guy. And Phoenix is struggling right now. They're in a 2-2 series deadlock with New Orleans, who I didn't even think deserved to be in the playoffs, but they're taking advantage of their opportunity. When the Chicago Bulls beat Milwaukee in game 2, like I said earlier, people started to say, uh-oh. And the Bucks did what a defending champion does. They handled their business. And they beat the crap out of Chicago, both games in Chicago. So they're up 3-1. I'm sure they're going to put this series to bed in game 5. And again, as I just mentioned, the Suns lost by 15 at New Orleans. Their series is tied now. Now, people, I still believe Phoenix is going to win this series, but ooh, boy. And the thing about it is, we know for sure Middleton is out for 2 weeks, sprained MCL. is kind of touch and go with Devin Booker. I mean, Devin Booker could possibly be back for Game 5, or he could be back for Game 7 if it went that far. I mean, and that's another read the pellet. Like, if I'm Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, if I'm Coach Willie Green, I'm looking at Zion and saying, you can do between the leg dunks, but you can't get your fat ass on the floor and play for about 20 minutes. And here's one thing that was said this morning that I did not agree with. If you bring Zion back, now all of a sudden the players have to adjust to Zion Williamson. I disagree with that, because the players who are on the court have been there. No, Zion Williamson would have to adjust to being with the other players. I'm not changing nothing about my offense if Zion Williamson comes back on the floor. He needs to be back on the floor, but you got to understand, the Pelicans are in this position, and you had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. And he even need to recognize that and respect that. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But he's another one, I believe, cheats the game of basketball. I can't stand it. And he's another one who'll be looking for max money. Shit, devil is a lie. Get out of here. Kick rocks. Tonight's game, again, Game 4, Nets and Celtics. We'll see. The Philadelphia 76ers have a chance to close out the Toronto Raptors. They were up 3-0 as well. Toronto did win Game 4. Joel Embiid, unfortunately, has a thumb injury and it's going to require surgery, and it's on his shooting hand, his right hand. That really sucks, because it just when you're starting to see a light at the end of that Philadelphia tunnel, something always happens, and something always tends to happen to Embiid. But I will tell you what, boy, does Joel Embiid look like a knight in shining armor when you think about Ben Simmons. Because this dude has an injury where we know it's going to require surgery. He don't give a damn. He said he's not going to get the surgery until the season is over, which means he's going to tough it out. He's going to ride it out, because he's doing that for his teammates. Joel Embiid looks like a knight in shining armor compared to Ben weak-ass Simmons. And I believe the Sixers will close the deal. I believe they'll close the deal. This kid, Tyrese Maxey, he's making a lot of noise. That kid is the truth. The Utah Jazz and the Dallas Mavericks series, not talked about much. That series is tied at 2. Luka came back for Game 4, but the Jazz won on an alley-oop to Rudy Gobert thrown by Donovan Mitchell. How about that? We all hear about how much they don't get along, blase. But they seem to link up for a game winner to tie the series at 2. Now, I said that if Luka doesn't play, Dallas has no chance. Jalen Brunson has pretty much proved me wrong, because that dude has been balling. I wonder how much his offense is going to be affected now that Luka is back. That series has 7 games written all over it. It really does. I mean, if you look at the Western Conference, every series with the exception of Golden State and Denver, every series is tied up at 2. Phoenix, New Orleans, 2-2. Minnesota, Memphis, 2-2. Utah, Dallas, 2-2. You know, in the Eastern Conference, it's a bit more parity, because you got Philly up 3-1, Milwaukee up 3-1, Miami up 3-1, Boston up 3-0. So the chalk has definitely walked in the Eastern Conference. The West has been a wee bit tighter. They have been a wee bit tighter. Now, my end results for these series, I think Phoenix is going to grind out a first-round series win. It is hard for me to call Memphis and Minnesota. Logic would say Memphis, only because Minnesota does not know how to hold on to a lead. They will get up by, they got up by 26 a couple of times on Memphis, and Memphis walks it down quickly. Utah, Dallas, again, I don't know, crapshoot. I really don't know. That's a crapshoot series. I don't know. Because Luka's back, I'd like to think Donovan Mitchell is going to step up and say,
Bye, bitch.
But Utah is one of those teams where whenever you put expectations on them, they kind of wet the bed. So, I don't know. I would, like I said, crapshoot for that one. Crapshoot for Memphis and Minnesota. The East, pretty cut and dry. Looks like we're going to see Miami versus Philadelphia in the second round. Injured Embiid kind of hurts, because they're going to be taking swipes at that thumb. And then you're going to have Milwaukee versus Boston. And that is going to be something worth seeing because that Celtics defense is real. That Celtics defense is really real. But, to me, Giannis is maybe the realest. For real. So, again, all locked in, definitely fun. But, again, I had to go on my little rant because I am sick and damn tired of seeing players cheat the game of basketball. I mean, the fact that we have 5 players in the entire league play all 82 games is an absolute joke to me. It is. And, again, I want to see the players get their money, player empowerment, but you can't cheat the game. You still have to hold up your end of the bargain. And anybody who thought that Brooklyn won that trade, shit. Because James Harden might not be Houston Rocket James Harden anymore, but he's giving you more than what Ben Simmons is giving you. Period. It just is what it is. Sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes the truth shall set you free. And if the Brooklyn Nets are smart, they will let the truth set their asses free of Ben Simmons. But I know that's easier said than done. But yes, definitely lock in playoff time. Let's go! And now caller number 1 for the day is the big homie, Big Calvin, Big C. But I told him we just talking basketball today. What up, playoff? Ain't nothing much. So what do you think of the playoffs so far?
It's been real interesting. The least real, I think they played him balling his ass off. Now, like I told my homeboy today, I got Brooklyn winning the next game, and maybe the next after that, but I still don't go and hold the ball. I think the key to this series is probably just they played him how he was able to just him and their game plan, how they just attacking Durant as soon as he get the ball. I guess they think just don't let the motherfucker get the ball. As soon as he steps it, they are like falling at the ball. Like I can't go last my team shit like that.
Yeah, I've never seen Kevin Durant look this flustered in a series. What do you think of Kyrie Irving?
I don't know, man. It just feel like he's just not up to speed or whatever. I mean, I see the last game like that last possession he had, like he wasn't even ready for the ball. It's like he in his own little world, man.
Yeah, you saw how KD just turned around and walked away when that shit happened? He was done.
Yeah, but it goes to show you, like, somebody made this one, the one they were trying to make it, like, they ain't got no big dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, they co-pilot. Somebody said, you got 2 co-pilots playing, they ain't got no co-pilot. They ain't got no real pilot. Because the Red was in Golden State. He was the pilot that was substitute. When Kyrie was in Cleveland, he was still a co-pilot, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes he could be the most skilled person in the score, but still not the big dog, you know what I'm saying? They just feel like they're doing their own thing. They don't, if you look at that game and then wait till the next day and watch Golden State, they always feel like they play together, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like Brooklyn is not playing together. Like, I mean, they like Golden State, like Rockford. Even they lost this thing, still, it's like such a different, you know what I'm saying?
Golden State is a beautiful thing to watch, even in defeat. Even though they lost yesterday to Denver, they are a beautiful thing to watch because you're right, they play together.
They don't matter who's on the fucking court. So they just not playing together. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not playing team basketball, they playing street ball. You know what I'm saying?
They playing hero ball. That's what I said earlier. I said, with all those shooters they got on the court for Brooklyn, KD, Kyrie, Seth Curry, Patty Mills, all you see is ISO ball, no movement. All you see is ISO ball.
Yeah. Right. And you know, Patty Mills was, you know what I'm saying, like, that was, you remember that? I used to say that was my dude at one time. I thought he was going to be what, you know, Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Not to that level, but you know what I'm saying? Like lights out for the remainder of all time. You know what I'm saying? The way they ball, that shit is.
You talking about when San Antonio beat Miami back then? Yeah,
God,
and he was just hitting everything.
And I swear to God, it's like he looked in the camera dead at me and winked at me. I said, this is bad.
Yeah, man. I mean, but you got all of that shooting, and all you doing is playing a bunch of hero ball. And then you're going to put Blake Griffin in the game, and Blake Griffin is going to give you everything he's got. And it's like Blake Griffin was trying to inject the soul into that team.
Everything he got.
Yeah.
And he wanted enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what they. And what's the deal with Ben Simmons? For real, I think they didn't have Ben. What the fuck is wrong with him?
Ben Simmons?
Hey, he might be out. He remind me of every nigga you know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He reminds you of who?
Every type of nigga you know. Like, why he just, they say why he not playing?
Ben Simmons is an absolute disgrace. I done went off about him early in the podcast. Ben Simmons is a joke. They saying it's a back issue. Ben Simmons, I'm gonna be honest with you. Ben Simmons Ben Simmons and people like Ben Simmons is what the hell is wrong with basketball.
People like what's wrong with the world.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't lying. I mean, Ben Simmons is an utter goddamn disgrace. He's a joke. He is a joke. But then got the nerve to be filing a $20 million grievance against the NBA when I said the Brooklyn Nets need to file a grievance against his ass. Every time you say, oh, Ben Simmons is about to play, I'm like, yeah, all right, okay, I believe it when I see it. He is a weak-ass dude. He want to claim mental health. No, there's a difference between having mental health issues and being mentally weak. He's mentally weak.
Right, it's like he just want to sit on the sideline with all his clothes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you don't want to do the job. Like, that's the problem with them. They want the job, they don't want the work.
Exactly. They want the perks of the job, but they don't want to put in the work.
He'll realize when next year when he's playing for fucking Food Line. You know what I'm saying?
That nigga said he gonna be playing for Food Line.
He's playing for fucking Food Line. But yeah, he's like, they gonna be done. Golden State, like, they lost, so you know they gonna beat them. And everybody coming down on Jokic, but Golden State's supposed to be the league. You know what I'm saying? They gonna run his ass up. They gonna run. He can't keep up. He can't keep up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't blame Jokic because, you know, his second and third best player are out due to legitimate injuries, not like Ben Simmons. So, I mean, Jokic is giving it all that he can, so I don't fault him for that. Denver will look totally different next year when they're fully loaded. When they're fully loaded, they might be the second or best third team in the West.
Okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like Miami, I hope Miami beat the shit out of Atlanta and go on to lose the next round like I know they is. They just, I don't know, it seems like some bad TVs going on in Miami. You know what I'm saying?
So you think Miami is going to lose to Philadelphia?
Are they playing Philadelphia next series?
Well, with, you know, assuming Philadelphia, they're up 3-1, assuming they put away Toronto, yeah.
Right. Yeah, hell yeah, they will beat them.
So you think Philly will beat Miami?
I think they will, yes.
Okay.
Despite Jimmy Butler's best hit, I mean, I don't care what nobody say, man. That nigga's a gladiator, man. Hey,
oh, yeah, he's one of my favorite players.
Hey, you know what? He's one of those people like it. I wouldn't want to meet him because it seems like he's one of them niggas that's like an. You know, he reminds me of, and I'm not, and I wish I didn't say that, but I wish I didn't say asshole because I say asshole because he is a little bit of an asshole too. Your cousin David. He got that type of. I don't know what it is. It's like a slick type of like. He the only one in on the joke. You know what I'm saying?
You said that Jimmy Butler reminds you of my cousin David. The podcast is familiar with David. That is hilarious.
He is. Like, he kind of slick, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, you'll be serious with the situation, and David's like, that's fine. And that's it. But I tell you what. And then he goes on to say something really unrelated and really sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? But I love David though. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? I live vicariously through David. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
But Jimmy Butler, that like he gonna wheel them. I think there's something going on between him and that little Victor dude. Victor's like, ain't nobody get along with Victor.
Oh, Victor Oladipo?
Yeah.
I don't even know if his ass has played any of this series. But I'm gonna let David know that because I'm just curious because that is funny to me.
Yeah, I mean,
David will probably agree with you.
yeah, he's you know what I'm saying, a good person, but he's when he wants to be an asshole, he's very successful. once he decides to be an asshole, that's you know what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he never been an asshole to me, but I've seen him be an asshole to others, and it's not pretty. You know what I'm saying? It's just not pretty.
Yes. Oh, I have seen David be an asshole to other people too. It's not pretty, but it can be quite funny. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I know we're supposed to be talking basketball, but I just realized the game was a disclaimer, so we went on script last time. We were talking about other things.
You said what?
But I said enough about David. I know we're supposed to be just talking about basketball. You gave me the disclaimer, so we went on script last time.
Oh.
We're not gonna do
So, all right, now, did you see how Milwaukee handled business on Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Tony on the line later on to get his just interested because you know he ain't happy.
Yeah, well, that one gonna materialize and then it's nowhere. I mean, they had a good team, but you know, in every sport, we always had that one team that's been rebuilding for a minute, and they make the playoffs. It's gonna be a filler red card, and they run into somebody that was doing, you know, as advertising. They had to like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the difference to me. That's why Milwaukee's ceiling is higher than Phoenix, even though Phoenix had the best record in the league. Both teams lost a person of equal importance to their team. Phoenix is struggling with New Orleans. Series tied up. But after Milwaukee lost Middleton, they just went to Chicago and kicked the shit out the Bulls twice.
So they lost. So Milwaukee lost Middleton. Who did Phoenix lose?
Devin Booker.
Ooh, how long?
They say it's a hamstring issue, so you know, day to day, time will vary.
Hey, he's special. They've been trying to, you know, the powers that be was trying to get him a team for the Kingdom ever since for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like the media, like your boys Stephen A. Smith and all them, they just been pushing that. Like you would just tell when they get behind somebody, they just push it down your throat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that Chris Middleton is better than Devin Booker. I'm saying, as I said, they're equally important to their team.
No. I agree with that statement. I agree with that. They are. Well, I think Devin. You don't think because Devin Booker's probably the most. You don't think Devin Booker's more important to Phoenix than Chris Paul?
No. Absolutely not. Because Devin Booker been there for 6 years before Chris Paul got there. They won't shit.
Okay, there you go. Okay, that makes sense. That makes great sense. So he's the number two.
I mean, he's their best individual player, but as far as their most valuable player is Chris Paul. Just like with Milwaukee, their most valuable player is Giannis. Well, Giannis is the most valuable and the best player on Milwaukee. But
that's what I'm about to say.
Yeah, but
he wears those things.
Yeah, but Devin Booker and Middleton to me have the same equal of importance to their team.
I got you. So what about the guy? What's the little dude with the little braids from Milwaukee? Little Johnson dude, look like a little running back.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I thought he was more. So you think he's more? You think I would think, well, it's not like it ain't true. I would think they were both the same. It's like Giannis did them too.
Well, no, because see, Drew Holiday's calling card is really defense. He's a top 5 defender. He can run an offense, but when you need a bucket, when the game is on the line, if you're not going to Giannis, you going to Middleton. Just like with Phoenix, if Chris Paul not gonna do it himself, you going to Devin Booker.
So Giannis is the Middleton as Drew Holiday is the what's that center fucking guy? He was like number two overall pick. He had a game-winning bucket last year in the playoffs.
Oh, DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Oh, Ayton was the number 1 overall pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, I mean, but the reason why I say again, why I think Milwaukee's ceiling is higher, because again, they went to Chicago, a team who was far better than New Orleans, you know, at least, you know, record-wise, and they beat them down by 30 and 25. They kicked their ass both times in their building.
And who did that?
Milwaukee.
Okay.
And Phoenix, they just lost by 15 last night to New Orleans. And New Orleans, 10 games under 500, for all intents and purposes, shouldn't even be in the playoffs.
Goddamn. So what seed was Milwaukee?
Milwaukee is number 3 in the East.
Okay, who was number 1 and 2?
Miami and Boston.
What's up, man? Okay, I can get it.
Don't get it twisted. I got Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee will beat either. I've been saying all year that I think Milwaukee is coming out of the East.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be Milwaukee, and I think it's gonna be Milwaukee and Philly versus Golden State and whoever.
I think the only team, honestly, that can beat Milwaukee is Golden State. I think if they face Phoenix again, I just think that they would beat Phoenix again.
Yeah.
I do. I think Golden State would beat them.
But one thing you've always told me about basketball is always on matchup. So Golden State, who do you think in the West would beat Golden State in the series?
The way Golden State is playing right now, nobody.
Nobody.
The closest team that I would give a chance to would be Phoenix, but that's if they get Devin Booker back. Like they can't see Golden State without Devin Booker.
Right.
Memphis, nah. I mean Memphis, I have to see. Like Memphis, because they're very good, they're very athletic, but Memphis, we'll see.
It's like when Golden State get into when they start to put you in this, I call it when they start to put you in that tornado. You know what I'm saying? Like soon as you like once your possession is over, whether it's it don't matter what you do, whether you make it or miss it, or however how far. As soon as they get the ball, it's on. They run, man. Like
It's on and cracking.
It's on and cracking. Like you have to shout it. You have to keep your head on the swivel like in football. They gone.
Yeah, it's on and cracking. But anyway, I just wanted to pick your brain for a little bit, bro. You go ahead and get back to work. You are calling number 1 for the day. Any parting shots before we bounce?
No, man. I just call it.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna get at you, big homie. All right. Yes, sir. Wanted to pick Calvin's brain a little bit on the basketball, because he actually called me last week on Easter right after Jason Tatum's game-winning layup. He said, "Did you just see that?" I said, "Yeah, I did." He said, "That was crazy." But what we didn't think is that Boston would be dominant for the rest of this series. But we shall see again tonight if they finish up the job. But allow me to transition for a couple of minutes to the world of boxing, the sweet science. Hear the bell ring. So Saturday, Tyson Fury successfully defended his heavyweight championship belt. The WBC heavyweight championship of the world was on the line against Dillian Whyte over across in the pond. And Tyson Fury looked pretty dominant in his 6-round stoppage of Dillian Whyte. It was a really short uppercut that put Dillian Whyte on his behind, and he tried to get up, but he had absolutely no balance on him whatsoever. Now, afterwards, Tyson Fury was talking about a crossover fight with one of the UFC stars. I'm going to be honest with you, I can't pronounce his name, but he did come into the ring. And if Tyson Fury decides to do that and get that bag, I ain't mad at him whatsoever. I'm going to be honest with you. It is not a fight that I would be interested in seeing Tyson Fury do. I think the guy's name was Ngannou or something like that, the UFC fighter Ngannou. I want to see Tyson Fury. I want to see a unified heavyweight champion. That's what I want to see. Tyson Fury also gave the indication that he's ready to retire. Now, that's all well and good, But there's still too much money right now that's being left on the table in regards to Tyson Fury's future in boxing. Should Anthony Joshua get past Usyk in his rematch and for the third time become heavyweight champion again, they've already got a 2-fight deal in place. So, don't read too much into Tyson Fury saying that he may be ready to retire, because there's a lot of money on the table that he's not going to pass up. I guarantee you that. But he looked great in the process. Now, his little brother, Huey Fury, he looked pretty good too. He remained undefeated. And how about Ricky Hatton is announcing that he is going to come back to the boxing ring. And I'm going to be honest with you. Why? I mean, not trying to be funny. I mean, he's 43 years old now, and he plans to fight Marco Antonio Barrera on July 2nd. Now, I don't know if this is a celebrity thing or if this is going to be a legit fight, but Ricky Hatton's style of fighting to me does not warrant him stepping into the ring again. But remember, I've told you guys over the last couple of weeks that boxing is going to be litty. Fury defeating Dillian White again. That's still just the beginning. I watched the Errol Spence Ugas fight again. Again, that is just the beginning, because we've gotten this past weekend out the way. On Saturday, Shakur Stevenson against Oscar Valdez. Must see fight. And it ain't on pay-per-view. It's on regular ass television. Ain't nothing like it. I'm gonna tell you. It's on ESPN. Shakur Stevenson again versus Oscar Valdez. It is a unification fight. Shakur Stevenson's WBO junior lightweight title and Valdez's WBC junior lightweight title will be on the line. Also on the zone, same night, title fight, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. 10 rounds for Katie Taylor's undisputed lightweight titles, WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF. Liddy. Then again, then the following week, May 7th, Canelo Alvarez, Dimitri Bivol. Now, let me go into detail as far as that goes. With the Canelo fight, if that is going to just be on the zone itself, okay, I will gladly tune in. If it's a pay-per-view, nah, bruh. Nah. Bivol ain't that opponent that I'm going to be paying to watch you fight. Even though it's up at light heavyweight, nah, bruh. But then the next week after that, and note to self, and note to those who listen, if the Canelo fight is available and I can watch it, simply watch it on the zone, that is Cinco de Mayo weekend, I will cook up some tacos. That's all I'm going to say about that. So note to self, if anybody's listening, anybody's thinking about it, holla at your boy. But then the next week on Showtime, Jermall Charlo, the Charlo brothers, fights Brian Castano in a unification a junior middleweight fight. That seems to be the theme of all of these big fights. Unification fights. That's what I'm talking about. The best fighting the best. Champions fighting champions, motherfucker. Let's get it on. Let's get it Chris Akin. Let's get it Cricket Lackin. Okay? Now, Charlo's WBC, IBF, and WBA junior middleweight title will be on the line against Castano's WBO junior middleweight title. Okay? And then 2 weeks after that, Tank Davis fights Rolando Romero for Tank Davis's WBA lightweight championship of the world. You feel me? Thank God that ain't on Showtime, because the only reason why I don't order Tank fights on Showtime is because he don't fight nobody to me worth paying for. Now, if he get in the ring with Devin Haney, oh yeah, that mushy TV, dog. That mushy TV. And speaking of Devin Haney, the week after Tank fights, Camboose fights Devin Haney for the undisputed lightweight title. Do you get the theme here? Do you? I'm sorry. When boxing is lit, I'm a happy person. I'm being so serious. So yes, Tyson Fury handled his business, but I cannot wait to see the Shakur Stevenson Oscar Valdez fight. I cannot wait. That is must-see TV. Big ups for boxing, you feel me? Like I said, when boxing is doing its thing, I am happy because it makes me, and you know what's funny? Tony gonna send me a TikTok. He gonna send me a TikTok video of Hagler versus Hearns. Bro, you know who I am? Do you think I don't know about Hagler versus Hearns? I've only been keeping up with boxing since I was 5 years old. Of course I know about Hagler and Hearns. Did I see the fight when it actually happens? Nah, we bit too young for that. I want to say I was like 1 when that fight happened. But you think I don't know about Hagler versus Hearns? Come on now. I just watched the TikTok. As soon as I clicked on the video, I kind of just had a look on his face like, don't he know who I am when it comes to boxing? I am that dude when it comes to boxing. Hagler, Hearns, I mean, come on. That's mythical. Like, I'm being so serious. That is a mythical fight in the history of boxing. The whole 3 rounds that it went, mythical. Maybe the greatest slugfest ever out. The only thing that could rival that because of its duration of the fights is Gotti Ward, Corrales versus Castillo. You know, those are the only ones that maybe could rival that. But come on, bro. You know who I am? Of course. Oh, my goodness, of course. And now I will transition back to B-ball because I got my man Tony on the phone. What up, bro?
What is going on?
Not your Bulls.
Not my Bulls. Weaknesses are exposed. I keep saying the same thing. Size kills. That's the first thing. Size kills. Second, basketball IQ counts for a lot. Like, you just gonna keep dropping off of dudes and leaving them wide open for threes because Giannis runs into the lane with the basketball. Man, let that dude do what he gonna do. Miss, whatever. Stay home. 3-pointers kill, especially if they're making them. If they missing them, then your strategy works. But if they making them, you're just giving up points.
Well, I was on the phone with Calvin earlier, and I said, this is the difference. I said, this is why I put Milwaukee at a higher ceiling than I do Phoenix. Because both teams lost players of equal importance to their team. I'm not talking about how you feel about them as an individual player. I'm talking about the importance to their team is equal. Dead equal. And Phoenix is struggling right now. And Milwaukee does what a championship team does. What a defending champion does, They went into Chicago and handled business, and it wasn't close. That's why I put Milwaukee at a higher ceiling than Phoenix, because everybody will pretty much tell you that Devin Booker is a better player than Chris Middleton, but their value to their teams are equal. And while Phoenix is struggling, dealing with New Orleans, who's playing to me above their heads, and Chicago to me, who, you know, at least on paper, record-wise, was clearly better than New Orleans, clearly. But Milwaukee destroyed them back-to-back in Chicago. So, I mean, I'm not specifically saying that. I'm not saying that as a shot or anything, because like I said, I was talking about this with Calvin earlier. So, let's talk about the playoff.
I think that's a bad analogy, though. In comparison, I think it's a bad analogy because that does not necessarily translate to, say, Phoenix playing Milwaukee. Because Phoenix, they lost a game that they had a really good chance to win. What killed them down the stretch? Rebound after rebound.
Which team?
Which shots. Team? Who gave Phoenix potentially 3 shots? Jackson Hayes, because of dumb. So you lose size, and against certainly you need size.
Oh no, I don't disagree with that. And I wasn't talking about as far as a head-to-head matchup. I'm just talking about as far as mental toughness and handling your business.
What I will say in terms of that, and it's the 2 glaring things why those type of games. Momentum, part of it is coaching. You put in a guy off the bench and he's hot, Billy Donovan will yank that dude because of minutes. You know, it's not he don't necessarily ride the hot hand like he should, but more importantly, size. Rebounding, you get no offensive rebounds in one half of basketball. None.
Well, we talked about that on Friday. After y'all game 3 game, and then when I told you that
they can't rebound though, that's the thing. It's not because they can't rebound. I'm not necessarily on the fire Billy Donovan thing, but it's not because they can't rebound. They still would be overwhelmed with size because at one point, think about what the Bucks walked out as a starting lineup in their 3, 4, and 5. Bobby Portis at the 3.
Yep.
So you got a 6'10" dude at the 3.
Yep.
And then it's Lopez and Giannis.
Yep.
You're gonna get killed on the boards unless you gain rebound.
That's why I wanted to see the Cavaliers in the playoffs. That's
what I'm down at the other end of the floor, one and done, just chucking up shots. And if them shots are not falling, you will get down 15, then you're down 30. You know, and you're never gonna get that back.
Well, what I was talking about I was echoing your sentiments on the importance of size when we talked on Friday, right after y'all game, and then during the course of our conversation. Remember, Jackson Hayes got kicked out because of the dumb thing he did with Jay Crowder. And I said, if I was his coach, I would be pissed off because big bodies are so valuable in the playoffs. And you were like, say that again, say that again, say that again.
And even though Cleveland took an early exit, if you look at Cleveland versus the Bucks, their size was a good matchup.
That's why I would have loved to see. That's why I wanted to see Cleveland in the playoffs,
because they could trot out that same 4-5 lineup.
Yes.
With dudes above 6'10".
You're trotting out Mobley and Jared Allen and Kevin Love if you wanted to.
Marketing at 7 feet.
Yes.
That can play,
that's what they did in their second game against Atlanta. They trotted out They had Jared Allen at the 3. No, they had Marketing at the 3. They had Jared Allen at the 4, and they had Mobley at the 5.
Yeah.
They're gonna be something to deal with next season. They are.
That's the key to solving the Bucks. So out of the teams that are left, I mean, Boston is clearly the going to be the challenger, I think.
Well, let's get into let's go conference to conference. Let's start with the West, because the West, outside of the Golden State Denver series, the West is very tight. I mean, you got Phoenix and New Orleans 2-2. You got Minnesota and Memphis, the series I was looking for, 2-2. And then you got Utah and Dallas, 2-2. The only series that I don't even think is in doubt is Golden State and Denver. You know, nobody pays a lick of attention to that win that Denver had yesterday. What they just did, they prevented the inevitable. Because Golden State, they're done in Game 5. They're finished. So what do you think, first of all, of Phoenix and New Orleans now?
I think it's a you pick 'em, and it's about the matchup. It's not because Phoenix is overrated. It's about the matchup. Phoenix drew arguably one of the worst possible matchups for them, because I don't think anybody thought the Pelicans' offensive game was trash. It was just youth and
well, CJ provides experience.
Yeah, overall, but offensively, they can hang with most teams in the league. It was just, defensively, and then, but matchups. I mean, if McCollum is hot, then you have an answer to Booker, provided he's playing.
Right.
He's not playing.
Right, because when CJ gets hot, he's hot.
Right, and so it's a whole thing. Ingram, what is he? Again, if he's hot.
They're surprising me, because I'm going to be honest with you. I thought the worst possible scenario for Phoenix in the first round would have been the Clippers, because of the familiarity, and that's a very good matchup. That's why I said I think the Pelicans.
One of my good brothers out here that know the game, Pelicans are playing with house money.
Yes, they are.
So they have no reason not to go full tilt every single night.
Yep.
Phoenix, however, somewhere in Chris Paul's mind, he's slow walking because I don't want an ankle injury. I don't want to, whatever. Potentially, you gotta low manage him anyway because of age.
Well, you see it in the games, because Game 1 he puts up 30 points, 19 in the fourth quarter. Game 2 kind of a lull. Game 3 again 28 points, 19 in the fourth quarter. Yesterday may have been his worst playoff game ever. 4 points.
I would say Ayton has regressed, but Ayton never was what other people thought he was. I thought he was a average to slightly above average player with potential.
Well, Ayton threw up 28 in Game 3.
Yeah, he did, but he's not like in the big picture, in the grand scheme. Does Ayton strike? You think Ayton strikes fear in the hearts of the Pelicans? No. Is my point?
No, that's true.
If Zion could have got his head right, I mean, they likely win this series.
You know what? I'll get into deeper with Zion later, but if I'm Ingram and McCollum and Valanciunas, and Willie Green, the coach, I'm sitting Zion Williamson down and saying, bro, if you don't want to play, get the hell out of here. Because there's no need to see you doing between the leg dunks in pregame, and you can't get your ass on the floor. That's just me. That's just me.
You just mentioned another dude that low key, he's a factor. He's not like the high impact game, but quietly when you at the end of the game, when you look at the box scores or just if you watch the game, his impact is Valanciunas.
Oh yeah, I just said Valanciunas.
Still big man. Yeah, he's not a scrub.
Well, Valanciunas is a former All-Star. No, he's not a scrub. I think on the low, you have to kind of silently give David Griffin credit for the moves that he's made, especially that CJ trade. That CJ trade was big time because now CJ, without shadow of a doubt, is running the offense. And when he gets hot, he gets hot. Now to Minnesota, Memphis. Boy, if Minnesota could hold a lead, they would be up 3-1 in this series.
But you can look at it the other way. If Memphis never gets down, what? Series could be over if they stop getting behind.
But this is why this is
second. What is it? They decide they're gonna hit that second. Actually, it's not that. If they decide all of a sudden in them fourth quarters they're gonna play lockdown D.
Well, this is why their records are the 11-game difference, because it's not that there's really no discrepancy in talent. There's really no one team is clearly more talented than another. To me, they're dead even. Matter of fact, Minnesota may be more talented as far as individual players, but Memphis is more consistent. And it showed in that game, particularly Game 3. Minnesota will look great, and then they will just take their foot off the gas, and you can catch them. So what do you think the outcome of that series is?
Same as Phoenix, and you pick them, but if I had to put money on it, I'm gonna say the Grizzlies, because again, when they decide they want to play D, it throws that Minnesota offense a little out of whack, and that's what they are. That's all they are. They don't play D.
Karl Anthony Towns frustrates me because
and that's what it is. Once they start doubling him, he doesn't know how to deal with it, and it's crazy to me. As long as he's been in the league, dude, you don't know, what did he got. He can do so many different things, but he's not. One of the things he's not is he's not a great passing big man.
He is still such a phenomenal talent. It's just when Memphis is making a run back at you, just get your big ass on the block and just get some points to try to stop the bleeding.
He does though, Brandon. He does. What it'll do is he'll run to the block. They'll throw that ball in there, and rather than even attempt, rather than just go, you got it. It's just one man right there with you. Instead of just going, he slings that ball right back out.
It's just, I know. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
At least wait until the double comes, and then it's usually a cutter or something.
You can create an open shot.
Right, he's just kicking it right back out. As soon as it come into him, if it ain't a gimme, he kicking it right back out.
But that series is exactly how I thought it was going to be. Back and forth, nip and tuck. That has 7 games all over it. I think the cool thing is, though, I don't know if you've noticed, Cat's dad and John Morant's dad, apparently they've become really good friends, and they're sitting next to each other courtside because they have the friendly bet, the wager, and TNT did an interview with them.
Serious.
Huh?
Like because it ain't that serious. It both their kids. To them, your son is your kids are your kids. It don't matter if they 30. Your kids is your kids.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's no different than you going to see a little playground game with your kids playing, even though they get paid to do it.
Yeah, but I think that is so cool. I think they need to come up with a reality show, Basketball Dads, because I don't know if you saw the interview they did on TNT during the game. It was absolutely hysterical. I mean, but you could tell that these men, especially Karl Anthony Towns' dad, I mean, because he lost his wife to COVID when it first happened. So it's like just the fact that they're just having so much fun, enjoying their sons playing a game. I think that's very cool to watch. But Dallas and Utah, what do you think of that one?
There's so many you pick'ems. Man, it's rough. It is rough.
Luka's back, but Utah wins with a lob to go
Luka's
back.
but that changes things for Dallas. It doesn't necessarily make them better than what they are because
Exactly.
Brunson's been playing out his mind. And with Luka back, Brunson's not going to get that same run.
I said that before we got on the line. I said, how will that affect Jalen Brunson now that Luka's back?
So it may disrupt them. I'm gonna go with Utah because of consistency.
Really?
Okay. They running the same thing. They're just not making. Yeah, they're not making shots. Just in general, but they're running the same offense. So I'm gonna stick with Utah on that one because I think Luka being back changes things for them. Brunson being there, he's been playing out of his mind, but their offense is more free flow because they don't have Luka there. Luka is gonna take that ball, bring it up the court. He's gonna shoot it. He's gonna pass it. Anything that happens with that ball, Luka's gonna touch it.
And that's what, Chris Broussard said something this morning that I didn't necessarily agree with. When he was talking about Zion possibly returning in the playoffs, and he said, well, how would the players adjust to Zion? My thing is like, the players who have been playing for New Orleans, they've been there. Zion would need to adjust to them, but, to each his own. I mean, I understood the premise because it could change your offense, but I'm not going out my way to adjust to a dude that hasn't been there.
I don't think it would affect them one way or the other. Because Zion is not necessarily a player that has to have that ball. It has to have his offense initiated by ball handling prior.
Well, see, understand this.
He can go to the block and have the pass.
He can, but understand this. He hasn't played a game for this coach. Last year, Stan Van Gundy was his coach, and Van Gundy chose to run the offense through Zion. He played him as a point forward a lot. I'm pretty sure Willie Green is not going to do that, especially now that CJ is there. That's why I said Zion would have to adjust to them, to CJ and BI and Valanciunas. I wouldn't go out my way to adjust to a dude that.
I don't see that as a problem because it's a simple thing, bro. Go down court. I'm taking the ball out of bounds. I mean, the coach. You tell him twice, and if he ain't listening, sit his ass back on the bench. He's been missing anyway.
Right.
So it's no harm, no foul. But you tell him, look, such and such and such is bringing the ball up. You know, these are the offensive sets that we running. You tell them in practice, drill it to them over and over and over. These are the offenses. Nothing changed. The only difference is instead of you bringing the ball up, this is it. He know the game. The dude played the game. He wasn't a point forward, throughout his basketball career. So he understands what he needs to do outside of that. He does.
All right, well, let's go to the Eastern Conference where things are pretty much more cut, dry, and simple. You got the Sixers up 3-1. You got the Bucks up 3-1. You got Miami up 3-1. You got Celtics up 3-0. I'm going to save the best for last. Well, go ahead and if you want to elaborate more on you guys playing Milwaukee, or do you feel like you did enough?
I said what I said. Size kills, and more importantly, without the size, but if you got open shots, and they clearly open shots, you can't miss. I mean, you can't miss. You gotta at some point you gotta offensively rebound. You cannot. And then if you're not going to offensively rebound, you at least better defensively rebound. And the hustle plays that were there early in the season, them dudes not hustling. They won't die for balls anymore. I don't know why it is. Nowadays, we play Milwaukee. We had to get some catastrophic injury that rules somebody out. Caruso was questionable because of the face injury. I really wish they would just. I keep throwing that name, Tony Bradley, out there, and even Tyler Cook. This is size. This is 6'11" and 7 foot sitting on the bench that hasn't only seen Tony Bradley seen 5 minutes in this whole series. Now these dudes ain't world beating dudes, but Tyler Cook is 265 pounds. Okay, 6'10". You're telling me, and he can block people out. You're telling me he couldn't help you at all at power forward? You're telling me Tony Bradley, when they decide they want to do Giannis and Lopez, which is their starting lineup, you're telling me putting an additional 7-footer on the floor versus love Javonte Green, but he's 6'4.5". Why, bro? Why? It's just poor coaching. That part is them old coaches kind of stuck in their ways. Billy Donovan has had success at both levels. I give him that. You know what I mean? But come on now, adjustments. You know your personnel. Know the team you're playing. You know, you done played them enough to know their size beats you every single time. And then when you allow these dudes, once they get frustrated and they start going ISO ball to particularly DeMar, if them shots are not falling, you got to change up. If Kobe Bryant, not Kobe,
Kobe White.
If Kobe White shots are not falling, he is a negative on the court because he plays no D. He fouls badly. When he does foul, because he struggles on D, he fouls 3-point shooters. He fouls. You got to put him down. You got to sit him down. Play Troy Brown Jr., who's only seen 10 minutes this whole series, but yet this dude, was getting 15 or more minutes during the regular season. You shorten your rotation for the playoffs. A lot of coaches do that, but you lengthen your rotation when you playing against a team that's deep and you need bodies to throw at a superstar. When you need bodies to throw at a superstar, then you go ahead and play these bench dudes spot minutes. You play them. So that's all I got to say about that. Hopefully in the off season that he'll change his thought process and not think that Lonzo missing was the key. Size. And you're going to have to give up an asset to get a good asset. You can't hold on to these dudes forever and on potential. If you're trying to contend now, you need to go ahead and make moves now. So that's my take, on that.
Okay. Miami, Atlanta.
It's over. Like that's over. Atlanta never really did have a chance because of Trae Young. Here today, gone tomorrow. Trae Young. That's it. As he goes, Atlanta goes. They underachieved all year, and then yeah, you could say if they had their full complement, Hunter and all of them, that's fine. But it still go as Trae Young go. And when he's on, they have a chance. When he's not on, they have no chance.
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense now why Kyle Lowry didn't play at the end of Game 3. Because remember, I called you. I said, why the hell didn't they have Kyle Lowry on the court at the end of the game? Tyler Hero was making all the wrong decisions running the offense. But Kyle Lowry didn't play last night, nursing a hamstring injury. That was more or less of caution. But confidence also that they feel that they could rest him. Basically, he could have played if it was necessary. But Jimmy Butler has been lights out this series anyway. So, yeah.
In absence of Hunter.
You said what? No, Hunter played.
Well, but he nicked up.
Yeah, because remember, Hunter was guarding Butler on the last possession of Game 3. But
they're done. They're cooked.
Yeah, they're finished. They're finished.
As them Brooklyn Nets, they cooked.
And let me see. Oh, before I get to the Nets, Philly, Toronto.
Well, okay, Philly is at a crossroads. Philly's gonna win this series clearly, but they're also at a crossroads in terms of, and we talked about this before. What are they gonna do in the offseason? Because they could come out empty-handed. Let's put it that way. Basically having nothing for Ben Simmons, because in my mind, James Harden is trash now.
But James Harden is giving you more than what Ben Simmons would give you.
On much, but he is trash. At least with Ben Simmons, the Nets can say maybe this dude will bring to. Even though I think the Nets dynamic is going to change, I would not be surprised, and I said it earlier before the whole Ben Simmons thing. I would not be surprised to see Kevin Durant walk from the Nets.
Well, he signed through 2026.
I would not be surprised. Let me repeat that. I would not be surprised to see Kevin Durant walk from the Nets.
Okay, well, when you said a crossroad, I thought you were going to talk about the thumb injury that Embiid suffered.
I'm not. Nah, that's not going to impact them now. Maybe later on with the Bucks, because
they would have to play Miami.
I said maybe later on when they play the Bucks.
Oh, so you think they're going to beat Miami?
Go ahead when they play the Bucks.
Okay.
Because again, size and Miami got size too, though. They got size, and it's like
that's why I asked that question. You think Miami is going to beat Philadelphia? Or do you think
the revenge of Jimmy thing? Maybe not. I don't know. That's a tough one to call because they do got bodies to throw at Embiid.
Miami's a very deep team.
After that, it comes down to the Maxis and the Heroes and all of that. And Miami, yeah, they are pretty damn deep. I think that's a you pick 'em too. Maybe that thumb injury will come into play at some point. I just don't see it being a thing this series. I just know James Harden's trash. he basically is like 1 foot out of league because with superstars, unless you are willing to accept being lesser, and we've seen it. There are superstars that they play declines and they accept that I am no longer the guy that I used to be.
Carmelo.
On the role.
Carmelo.
And they content with that role. Harden is not one of them dudes, and we know this. He got an ego. So,
Well, it took Carmelo literally being out the league for him to accept it.
Yeah.
Westbrook may be next. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Brooklyn, Boston. Game 4 is tonight. What is your prognostication?
I think out of pride, Kevin Durant may come out and have a huge game tonight, and the Nets may win a game, but the series is over. The series is over, and I want to hear, the Nets, they gave the games away. No, they didn't. No, they really didn't. The difference in every one of them games is the Boston primary dude stepped up in those fourth quarters.
Jason Tatum is housing Kevin Durant right now.
He is, and he's going head up with him. That's why I say I don't think, because even if Durant came out and had a monster game tonight, there's no guarantee that Tatum ain't going to have another monster game too.
Yep.
To counter that. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And then those peripheral guys, you get a little something from Claxton here and Brown.
Bruce Brown has been the Nets' best player.
Right. But you getting that from a lot of sources on Boston.
Yep. I mean, Bruce Brown's the one who gave the Celtics bulletin board material, but outside of game 1, he's been great. Outside of game 1, where's Kyrie been at? Kevin Durant, this is the worst series I've ever seen him play. Steve Nash is going to wait till late in game, till game 3 to finally put Blake Griffin in the damn game. And he gave you everything he had. He hadn't played in over a month. You still got Aldridge sitting on the bench. This comment of Kyrie, we don't even need a coach. Shit.
Yeah.
What do you do with Kyrie Irving? I mean, these are just questions. What do you think?
The bigger question is, what can you do with Kyrie Irving? Yeah, clearly a talented dude, but the other side is are people willing to give up assets that the Nets believe are commensurate to Kyrie Irving's talent when you get Kyrie Irving, the good guy, Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie can opt out. He can opt out after the season.
Yeah, he can opt out, but again, even with that, he's going to want money. And who supports themselves on other assets? For a Kyrie Irving, you can get 2 to 3 good players on your roster that don't have no headaches with them, and go the depth route rather than the one guy who may show up. And this ain't even about vaccination. This is about, look, man, I'm going through something. I'm going to miss the next 5 games. Y'all be all right.
Right. Yeah. But there's one player that, to me, is worse than him, Ben Simmons.
Yeah, Ben Simmons is worse than him, from the Philly perspective, but, and here's the big old but in terms of that. You could say with a degree of confidence that you understand and know what Ben Simmons is. Like, he's a bitch. Yeah, and you know he can't handle pressure, but you're gonna try to psychologically turn that around. But you know what he is talent-wise, and provided you don't have another meltdown type situation in Philly, you might be able to get a player. Kyrie's getting long in the tooth now. He's been in the league for a long time, and this whole time he's been a strange fucking dude.
yeah. Kyrie just turned 30. He's been in the league now 11 years. Yep.
Right. So those lepers don't usually change their spots, is what I'm getting at. They don't usually change their spots. Ben Simmons, a few years from now, might still be soft mentally, but he might be a productive player that plays 82 games for the Brooklyn Nets and can deal with being booed. Kyrie Irving, win, lose, you could be winning. You could be on a 10-game winning streak, and this dude, man, look, I'm going through something. I mean, I'm going to miss the next 6 games. I told you it was 5, but it's going to be 6. Y'all be all right.
Well, while I don't disagree, I talked about this earlier in the show, how I am sick and tired of players, potentially elite players, cheating the game of basketball. Nobody does that more than Ben Simmons. Kyrie Irving as well. Zion Williamson as well. The only reason why I didn't say why I left Kawhi Leonard off was because he actually has a legitimate injury, but he has in the past as well too. I'm just tired of it. Ben Simmons to me is a disgrace. Like you said, he's a bitch for all intents and purposes. He's meant that.
There's no two ways to say it. I mean, I ain't insulting this man, but bruh, if they are accommodate you to where you literally are only playing home games because you can't deal with road crowd pressure, you are a business. You are, and that means that provided we are not playing in Brooklyn, you and me, we could go out on the playground somewhere, and if I talk enough trash, his bitch ass to go crying. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yep. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, and the thing that really pisses me off is I'm going to cry mental health. No, mental health and being mentally weak are two totally different things. He is mentally
because
weak.
You're such a prima donna and don't work on your game, I feel so confident, Ben Simmons. How about we go out and play a game of horse, just me and you?
Oh, well, you're going to win if you can shoot.
I'm going to win. I can shoot.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And I'm not afraid to shoot.
Yeah.
The shot.
Yeah, if you're playing a game of horse and you're doing nothing but layups, he might got you beat. But
you know the key to beat him, though.
Huh?
You know the key to beating him, though.
Shoot a jump, shoot a free throw.
No, it ain't about that. It ain't about that. I mean, I guess you could shoot. You playing horse, so you can be shooting from all around, top of the key, everything.
Oh, what? As soon as Ben gets an H and an O, call him a hoe, and he gonna cry about it?
No. Call a couple females and say, yo, can you get your friends and your friends of friends and come on out to this park and just sit here in the thing, you know, and just boo him and call him a business and just and the other. You know.
You got him. You got him.
You distract him and start hurting his little simple ass feelings. Oh, I got it.
That's why I don't want to hear shit.
Looking at Shaniqua with the side eye. What you talking about me?
That's why I don't want to hear nothing about how much more talented these players are now than they were back then. If you're not available, you are no good. You ain't no good to nobody. You're really not. And like I said, I get tired of players cheating the game of basketball because they cheat the owners, they cheat the coaches, they cheat their players, and then most importantly, they cheat the fans. Ben Simmons is a goddamn disgrace. Kyrie Irving finds any means necessary to miss games. And like I said, Lord, let me be a owner for a year. Oh my God. Now Kyrie Irving, his play, like this is what Kyrie Irving has over Ben Simmons, the fact that he has played and that now the booing and stuff won't get to him. That will elevate his level of play. Total opposite of Ben Simmons. Why he has more value. My issue with again Kyrie, any excuse to not play. Like you said, I'm going through something. I'm going to be out the next 6 games. Y'all all right? But if you talk shit to him in the crowd, oh, he might drop 50 on you. Ben Simmons going to run under a rock.
Kyrie Irving sitting over in there, sitting in the crowd with his Malcolm X glasses on, reading the teachings of whoever, because clearly he's Muslim. I don't know which Muslim he is, but he over there with his Malcolm X glasses reading the Quran. I'm like, y'all go ahead. I'm just going to sit here and read my book. I get with y'all when I finish chapter 5.
But yeah, I get tired. I'm just going to be real interested to see what collective bargaining discussions are going to be like.
You didn't catch that.
I did. I caught it.
No, you didn't. Well, okay, because you would have said something. The whole Ramadan thing.
Oh, yeah, I know about Ramadan.
You caught that. No, you just said you were talking about any excuse not to play. He came out of the game because he needed to eat.
I saw that, yeah.
Because of Ramadan, so he broke Ramadan to eat a banana.
Yeah, see, I wasn't going to touch that because I'm not going to be judgmental of anybody on their religion.
He's the only Muslim player in the game, but he got to come out because he's special.
Because, I remember that's how I first learned about Ramadan was watching Olajuwon, play through it. He would lose weight, maybe look a step slow, but he would play through it. So I wasn't going to go there. I wasn't going to...
A question about today's players versus just in general. Because I for y'all that ain't aware, I sent them a couple TikTok videos. And the TikTok video I sent involving who? Larry Legend. Who else was it involving? These were primetime players. How many ejections did you see?
Not many.
Like you saw a ball thrown, you saw a punch thrown, you got tackled, all of that, but yet nobody got double technical.
No, not
played
really.
On.
Yeah, not many ejections, no.
Now,
only person who really got ejected back then was Rodman. And part of that was the show.
People will say, but see, that's different. People, today's game, they play basketball, and they don't play football. I said, no. Back then, they realized fans paid to see the players. So they were hard pressed to eject these players that people paid their hard-earned money to see.
Mm-hmm.
It would hurt their brand. It would hurt their business. Ain't nobody switching sports. In hockey, come on, man, they let them do straight up scrap.
They do.
Like box. It's part
the only
of the
thing I like
game.
about hockey.
It was part of the game. Yeah, the goal is to put the puck into the goal. But if it escalates to that, y'all go ahead. Y'all got a couple minutes. Go ahead and knuckle it up. Whoever wins, you go to the penalty box. And that's kind of how they decided it. And no one complained. No one literally has said that was bad for the sport.
No shit, that's probably the best thing for the sport. Because the fighting is really what has attracted people outside of hockey to the sport.
So there's that. Then I sent you two other videos, if I'm not mistaken.
I saw Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf giving it to the Bulls.
That one, and I sent the Grant Hill one.
Yeah.
I did. To illustrate, again, this notion, the game started in the 2000s. Like, these dudes could not play in today's era. Grant Hill would absolutely destroy in today's NBA without shooting a three-point shot. Okay? Because he could get to the rim. He had mid-range game, and he could play defense. And that's all you needed. But I sent you the Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf to show you a dude back then that I should have sent you the Dell Curry video, because around the time that Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was doing that, Steph Curry, the little itty-bitty boy, could have watched him and said, damn, I want to play like that. Because did that not look like Steph Curry?
Oh, I used to say this. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was Steph Curry before Steph Curry. I mean, because Mahmoud Rauf is still doing this in the Big Three in his 50s.
And if there is a Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf doing that, certainly there was more than one Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf that could do similar things. Did they do it all the time from the three-point range? No. But they could. The athleticism was there. And if those players, the ones that actually did work on their game back then, decided, you know what, I want to improve my three-point shooting average, so I'm going to focus on that. You had 40% three-point shooters on a regular back then, because you had capable shooters.
Detlef Schrempf.
Dudes like Glenn Rice.
Glenn Rice, yep.
Yes.
Mitch Richmond.
Steve Steve Smith is not from that.
Steve
that
Smith,
back
yeah.
era, but he was a competent shooter. And if that dude wanted to be a 40 to 45% 3-point shooter and focused on that, he would have.
And Steve Smith had range on his shots.
He had range.
He had mad range.
They talking about these outlier dudes like Kerr and Craig Hodges and all that. Yeah, but the average dude back then could shoot somewhere between 30 and 35% 3-point.
A guy like Trent Tucker too.
Which is Trent Tucker as well, which is what most guys.
But those were specialists. When you say
shooting
Steve Kerr,
30,
Craig,
35%.
but when you name guys like Steve Kerr, Craig Hodges, and Trent Tucker, that was their specialty. They were 3-point specialists. Guys like Steve Smith, Glenn Rice, they really. I mean, Glenn Rice. I mean, he was a shooting ass dude, but I mean, he had more of a complete game. You know,
Yeah,
Steve Smith had more of a
all them dudes
complete game.
could shoot threes.
Yeah.
They just didn't shoot a lot. They could shoot them. If they shoot them at a third between, we had this conversation. Kobe, 33%.
Yep.
Jordan, 33%. Okay, what do you think today's dudes are doing? The league average is 34%. So stop acting like we playing in a whole different thing. They just didn't take it's the volume.
That's for you, Marcus. I'm gonna send this to you, Marcus. I was trying to get up with you Saturday to have us three on the phone. That was for you, Marcus.
It's the volume that's different. It's not the actual, you have the crazy 3-point shooting average from Steph Curry, but he is an outlier. The rest of these guys that shoot threes, Kevin Durant is an outlier for a dude his size. But I promise you mentioned a name, Detlef Schrempf, who was a
6'10".
very tall guy.
He was 6'10".
And Sam Perkins.
Perkins.
Very tall guy.
Bill Laimbeer, 7 feet.
Could chuck them threes. If you left them open, they gonna kill you. Robert Horry, you leave them open.
6'10"
from 3.
Yep. Oh, we all pleased. Robert Horry may be the most clutch shooter ever. I mean, not trying to be funny. This dude may have been the most clutch shooter ever. Ever.
And it's not even the volume. In his case, it's win.
Yep.
It's win.
Yep.
You put him in the fourth, shooting them threes in the first quarter, he probably miss them.
Yep.
Fourth quarter, he ain't missing.
No, not at all. He wouldn't even hit the damn rim.
Yeah. Hey, son. So, yeah, I'll take a lot of them dudes. I'll take the combination in terms of 3-point shooting, but I definitely will take not Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott.
Dennis Scott. I would take Nick Anderson too, though.
Anybody shooting threes today.
Yeah. I remember we've had this conversation a couple of times. That 95 NBA Finals series between Houston and Orlando, those two teams would they would both have 70 wins in today's NBA because they were teams ahead of their time. They were 2 3-point shooting teams. I mean, on Orlando, Penny, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, Brian Shaw, Jeff Turner. Remember that name? Jeff Turner, 3-point shooting. Houston, Kenny Smith, Mario Elie, Clyde Drexler, even though Drexler was more of an all-around, but Kenny Smith, Elie, Robert Horry, Sam Cassell, they were letting it fly. And they were dead-eye accurate, actually. They were dead-eye accurate. Because, I mean, to my listeners, if you ever want to see a game, a really fun game to watch, that would mirror today's NBA, watch Game 1 of the 1995 NBA Finals between the Houston Rockets and the Orlando Magic. It is one of my favorite games ever. When you want to see 3-point shots fly, maybe not logo threes, that stupid shit, but threes that are coming in within your offense and pure shooting. Robert Horry dropped 6 threes that night. Kenny Smith dropped 7 threes that night.
You can't tell nobody that though. They wouldn't believe you. Even if they say, well, that was only one game. Well, yeah, it was one game.
But that was those two teams' style of play. They lived by the 3. They died by the 3.
Number of teams could do.
The difference is both of those teams had a dominant big man where they could throw to on the block at any time. One had Olajuwon, the other had Shaq.
Out. Inside out. That's how the game was always played.
Yep.
Inside out. So it's the same game. It literally is the same game.
And that's why the Warriors.
Contrast in style.
That's why the Warriors of back then never got close to getting a championship. Because the Warriors, as long as I've been alive, have always been a 3-point shooting team. Run TMC. Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin. They would jack them up. but they didn't have an inside presence where they could go inside out and it would just kill them back then.
Yep. Which is why my picks are the same. I don't care what team you pick today. If they're a three-point shooting team, I can get a team from the past that is actually opposite of that, who shoot low volume three, but they have an inside presence. I'll take the inside presence team.
Yep.
I'll take the inside presence team.
Yep.
You see, them 2-point shots plus fouls going to eat you up.
Yep. And those
game down, everything.
And those Don Nelson Warrior teams were awesome to watch. Y'all think this Warrior? Look, this team, this generation's Golden State Warriors are a beautiful thing to watch. You think Steph Curry got handles? Look up Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway is arguably put the crossover on the map.
He did put the cross. Him and Isaiah, they did put the crossover on the map. You think Klay Thompson could shoot? And Klay Thompson can get hot as anybody I've ever seen. Look up Chris Mullin. Look up Mitch Richmond. Them motherfuckers could shoot. They will. Look up their scoring average too. I guarantee you might find Run TMC average more. But they didn't have that inside presence when the game slowed down and you had to focus inside out. They couldn't keep up.
If anybody wants to counter my argument, Marcus, that's who's countering this argument.
Marcus!
He wants to counter this argument. I say I will raise you one San Antonio Spurs team that Golden State could do nothing with. That same high-scoring, three-point shooting, Steph Curry could do nothing with older San Antonio simply because of pace. Tony Parker, pace.
You talking about the series where Kawhi got hurt?
Slowing game down. Whenever the Spurs played those Golden State Warriors, they never worried, they never struggled, they never anything because pace. If you control the pace of the game, you're going to control the volume of scoring. And if Golden State, teams like that who are heavy three-point shooting teams, can't get out and run and get wide open threes, it slows the game down. You taking Steph Curry, who might have hit 10 threes on you that game, and reducing it to 5 because you eating up a whole 24 seconds shot clock on your end of the court. They don't get long rebounds because you're not taking three-point shots, giving them long rebounds to get fast breaks. It ain't rocket science. And meanwhile, the whole way, what is Tim Duncan doing? Destroying them.
Yep.
So by that logic, would not the Lakers, any iteration of the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, with them having a deeper, all of the teams were deeper, they had deep teams.
Oh, yeah.
They had good players all across the board, at position by position. Logic dictates they would have beaten the Warriors. Logic dictates Houston because they had three-point shooting.
You talking about the 95 Rockets?
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
They did.
They also had an inside presence that was second to none damn near.
Yep.
So slows the game down.
Because at that point in time, Olajuwon was the best in the business. In a league with David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and Shaquille O'Neal, the best was Hakeem Olajuwon at that time period.
Yeah, arguably you'd have to give it to him.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's not this Marcus. This is not old people just everything old is better than new.
No, it's not that. No.
Everything new doesn't mean that they revolutionized. They didn't invent the wheel. The wheel was already there. They just changed the direction of the wheel, but it don't mean it moves faster, better, or anything else.
And me and Marcus, I got about 6 years on Marcus. Marcus is an 80s baby, just like me. But see, I'll fall back on occasions because he played for a while. He's 6'9". He plays. And, he knows his X's and O's. But I won't, like I said, I won't challenge that. But when I look at today's players, as far as the players that we grew up watching, oh man. Look, just because your 12th man on the bench can do a crossover, like I said, if he ain't available to play, what good is he? What good is he?
Yeah.
Or if he's frail as hell, because I ain't never seen this many injuries when I was growing up, where literally you have 5 players.
Their argument, they will counter pretty much everything you say. For instance, the athleticism. Well, the players today can get to the rim anytime they want to. Well, that's because people don't play defense. Well, back then they only got to the rim because they was playing against plumbers and electricians.
No. See, that was in Bill Russell's days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You say that about
Were
okay.
elite
You talk about
athletes.
you talk about players playing against John Havlicek. I saw what JJ Redick said. I agreed
They
with
were
him.
elite athletes. Once maybe the 70s hit, you had elite athletes.
Yes.
Specifically, when you watch the ABA players, because they were about the high flying showmanship. And one Dr. Julius Irving was playing over there. And if you're telling me Dr. J wasn't as athletic or more than a lot of the dudes today, you don't understand the game. Even at 6'9", I would say you don't understand the game. Dudes like Sean Kemp, come on, man, this dude's snatching a cord off the top of the backboard like Earl Manigault. Stop playing.
Yeah, boy, if Sean Kemp would have stayed in shape, boy, I'm telling you, that's gonna be Zion.
And he wasn't an outlier. It's I don't know. There's so many dudes.
He wasn't, because remember the name Kenny Skywalker?
Yeah.
Come on now, Sean. Same.
You can play or you can't play, and either you fast. You can't teach speed.
No.
You can't teach speed and strength. Look, it doesn't matter whether you get in the gym and work out on your workout machine on your commercial, LeBron, or you like Karl Malone walk around lifting hay bales and all kinds of mess on your damn farm.
One of the greatest
Still
teams
small.
ever that doesn't get enough flowers, doesn't get enough respect. The 1983 Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, please, Doc and Moses, come on, man.
Mo Cheeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Any
They
team,
were
I mean,
a team that would have been a team of the decade
if they stayed together.
Yep, if they stayed together, they would have been right there with the Celtics
My Los Angeles Lakers
and the Lakers. They
had nothing for them. My Showtime Lakers had nothing for that team.
Think about it. They stayed together and could have had Barkley added to that.
Yeah. Well, Barkley did play with Moses and Doc, but they just they didn't stay together. Because Barkley came 2 years later?
Yep. Yeah, he had the 1 year with both of them.
Yeah, because he always says it was Moses Malone and Dr. J who told me get my fat ass in shape.
Exactly. Now, who's gonna deal with that front court? Moses and Barkley.
Oh my goodness. And Jay at the 3. Oh my God! I mean, that's one of the teams that clearly does. Because one of the most famous comments when they asked Moses Malone, "Well, what do you think y'all gonna do in the playoffs?" He said, "4-4-4," which means they gonna sweep everybody, and they did, except for the first game of the second round game. That's the team that doesn't get enough love. I've mentioned my 2001 Lakers. Gosh, where does time go?
You're not scrubs. The bottom line is these dudes, they were not electricians, not plumbers.
No.
Even the dudes that we consider like average from their time, I believe would be better than average maybe in today. A dude like Byron Scott from your Lakers.
Oh yeah.
Today, he would be one of them. He might be one of the better 3-and-D because he probably would have had a 3-point shot consistent in today's era.
Oh yeah, because he would have the green light to take it more.
Exactly.
Byron was a career 15 a game scorer. His career high year in 88 when he averaged 21.
You know why I picked him? Because he was on this deep team with, multiple stars, but yet he's...
You can name another one from those Lakers too, Michael Cooper.
Right. If you put both of them guys on a team where they're not asked to just play this role, they would have been a lot better than what we saw them as.
Yeah. And Byron was a high flyer. Low key.
Athletic dude. Absolutely.
Byron was he was only 6'3", but man, Byron could get up.
And play D.
We had to. He was, he worked with Coop. He had to play defense. Shit, that's how Coop stayed in the league. I swear winning time is making me hate the Celtics all over again. I'm serious. But I'm about to get out of here and start working on dinner for my kids, bro. Oh, see, Marcus, I'm sending this to you. I'm gonna send you the time when I mention your name. You gotta listen to this.
Yeah, you gotta get us on a call together. I'm telling you now, it's gonna get heated because
I know it is.
Again, you gotta come with fact stats with me. Don't come with okay, look at this and no.
I want all that smoke.
Yeah, he gonna have to want the smoke because for anybody he could bring up, I got a counter for.
Come on, Marcus. I'm sending this to you, bro. Come on, Marcus. You've been called out, sir.
The funny thing is, I don't even have to resort to I think last time I brought up Shaq, it was in terms of Embiid and what Embiid could or could not do with dealing with Shaq. And I just, no, he just couldn't deal with Shaq. He couldn't. But then most people couldn't. But guess who could? Elijah Wan could.
Elijah Wan schooled him.
And then on the other end of the floor, he schooled him some more.
Yep.
So.
Yep. The series we're talking about, 95 finals, that was a 4-0 sweep by the Rockets over the then very young Orlando Magic. But Shaq would get his get back when he put on the purple and gold. But Marcus, you have been called out, sir. You have been called out. But I'm going to get at you soon, big bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, y'all already know what I'm about to say next. My man, Tony. Oh, no, I'm telling you. That is going to be must listen. I'm going to make it a Sports Plus Life Talking-ish, and it'll probably come on a Saturday night where y'all get it Sunday morning. Well, I'm going to get my boy Mark, and Marcus is my little big brother. That is my dude. I love that dude. For real, that's my guy. I mean, we did a lot of tracks together in the early 2010s. We did a lot of tracks, and hopefully maybe I can get him on one more just for old time's sakes. But we have these heated basketball discussions. Yes, you've been called out, little big bruh. You feel me? Okay? So, and you're a player, and that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna try to hook that up, because when this thing hits YouTube, I'm gonna look and see what time. I mentioned Big Marcus's name, and I'm gonna say, dude, just go to this time in the podcast. You've been called out, sir. You have officially been called out. You've been called to the debate table on Sports Plus Life. And it's going to be fun. Oh, that's going to be fun. I cannot wait for that. That is going to be fun. Oh, my goodness gracious. So, yes. The playoffs start, let's see. The game tonight start in about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. And I'm telling you, I'm locked in. Like us again, the Eastern Conference is pretty much said and done, unless we have some miracles happen. And I'm gonna ride with Doc Rivers and say, okay, this ain't a 3. You got a 3-1 lead now, but you had a 3-0 lead. I'm gonna ride with Doc Rivers for them to put that series to bed tonight and get ready for the Boston Celtics. A lot of people are not gonna stop calling Brooklyn to win a game. I can't even bring myself to say it anymore. Yeah, Brooklyn gonna win tonight. I can't bring myself to say it no more, because Boston, for all intents and purposes, is ready. They're showing what better team basketball is about, as opposed to being a group of individuals, which the Brooklyn Nets have been playing like, particularly this playoff series. I mean, it's, and I know it's easy to get sucked into the trap, because when you see Brooklyn clicking on all cylinders, when you see Kevin Durant play great, when you see Kyrie Irving play great, when you see the role players play great, it's easy to say, man, who gonna beat that team? Who gonna beat that team? That team is amazing. Oh my gosh, Brooklyn gonna take it all. Yada, 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 yada. But here's the issue. How often does Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving play great in the same game? How often does that happen? How often do they put together the defensive stops that they need enough, for victory when they need them the most? Look, man, I was watching the game Saturday night when I got home from work, and I'm like, come on, Brooklyn, get them. Just wasn't meant to be. These Boston Celtics, they mean business. Now, like I said, I don't know where to go when it comes to picking them in Philadelphia. I want Philadelphia just to go ahead and get this over with, because I'm going to tell you what, if Philly loses tonight, you're going to start hearing all the stuff about Doc Rivers and past blown leads and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, Philadelphia, take care of your business. And Boston, we'll see, because Philly would have to deal with Miami. That's going to be a good series. And like I said, Milwaukee versus Boston, that is going to be some good stuff to see if everything continues to go the way that it has been going thus far. And for right now, the Hawks, the Nets, the Raptors, they have not given us, and the Bulls have not given us any reason to think that it wouldn't be. So with that being said, what a buzzer. Man, I can't lie. I'm going to be hype as hell when I get Marcus and Tony on the phone. I can't even front. That's going to be fun as hell. Because both of these guys mean what the hell they say when they talking about basketball. I want all that smoke on here. Anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful and blessed week. Enjoy this weather. I really do mean that. Definitely don't forget to hit that subscription button. I hope you guys like the track that I ended you guys off with last week. My song called Random-ish. So hit that subscription button. Become part of the Sports Plus Life family. It's your boy Brandon Brevon Towns. I'm out this bitch. All right. Peace. Love you guys.